This is my first ever e-bike, and just take a look at how well packaged this thing is. You see, I rarely do reviews on products that I didn't purchase. However, Engwe reached out to me and asked if I would do a non-scripted review and give my honest opinion on one of their e-bikes. So I've done some research on their brand and thought, why not? They gave me 3 different models to choose from, and I went for the Engine Pro 2.0. This is an ideal match for me as it's foldable, so I can put it in my car when I'm travelling. It's got big fat tyres, which is great as I like riding off-road, and it doesn't look like your typical Larry e-bike. Also, I have been toying with the idea of buying an e-bike for well over a year now, and with summer around the corner, this is the perfect time for me to use one. Plus, it was sent out for free. With that in mind, let's get this thing put together. Here we've got some folding pedals, plus a nice little toolkit, cue the sarcasm, and some spares which you rarely see. A front wheel axle, some cable ties and a manual, plus another manual and a lithium battery charger. Firstly, we've got to remove the casing insert from the head tube, then open up this folding stem and secure it to the bike. With that done, I drop in the stem riser, clamp it up nice and tight, then fit and secure the handlebars. Oh, and not forgetting these 2 bolts there. Just securing the LCD display holder, then onto the headlight and front mudguard. Absolutely flying through it. I can't actually believe how light this wheel is, especially for the size of the tyre. Goes on nice and easy. And it spins just like the pedals. Tighten the pedals up with the tools supplied. With that done, I get the bike back from Australia and put it upright, dropping on the rear mudguard. The hardest part about this rear rack was removing the 4 screws from the frame because they were Loctited in. This was not fun, but I don't show it in the vid because I don't want to bore you. I like this tail light and it goes on nicely. What's more satisfying, peeling off the plastic or tightening the cable ties? Now we've got one new bike that needs to be charged. When the LED's red, it's charging. When it's green, it's done. Just putting in the key and turning the bike on. What a lovely display look. As you can see, I've got my hiking boots on because where we're going first is muddy. Right, let's go. So we've got 8 gears, which is quite nice. I'm on power assist number 3, which makes it nice and easy. You can go from PAS 1 to 5. So if you go to 5, you literally feel like you're hardly pedaling. To enable the PAS, short for power assist system, it's a simple case of going up or down, depending on what you want. 0 is off, of course, and 5 is the maximum. Some lady already stopped me and said, this is too clean for up here. This is brilliant. So much easier than riding a normal push bike, I'll tell you that. I mean, look at these ruts. Just take them with ease, which is amazing for a fold-up bicycle. I suppose these tyres help, but just look how fat they are. Oh, straight through. These tyres are brilliant. They're not showing signs of getting stuck. This side stand comes in handy. It's not flimsy at all either, which is good. I've got to test the weight of this thing now. So I've got to get over that fence and there's no way to ride around it. So according to the spec, The bike weighs 39.8 kilograms. It's doable, but I wouldn't recommend it. So easy, so easy. I'm loving this. Just go wherever you want on it. I've not even used the thumb throttle once yet. I've just kept it on power assist level 2 and 3. Oh, brilliant. Give it the turbo button. It's definitely a hit, because even the sheep are looking at it. I've just found something. I've been riding around with the lockout on, which I think you're meant to use when you're on the road on a harder surface without any bumps. So I've taken that off, and then here is the preload adjustment. Obviously, because we're off-road, we want to adjust this to make it a lot more smoother and softer to take the bumps. With that off, you can see the suspension actually goes down now. And that was fun. Jeez. So much fun. So although the motor is really powerful and the bike's fast, one important thing is the brakes. Now these are hydraulic brakes, and I must say they do give me a lot of confidence. They stop really well, front and rear, which is good. Oh, great. There's only one thing I don't like about the brakes, and that is the left-hand brake is for the front wheel and the right-hand brake is for the rear wheel. In the UK, we have it the other way around, but I presume this is done for like the EU market. I'm sure I can swap that if I need to. Another cool feature is the lights. If you hold the lighting button down for a second, you get a nice bright LED headlight, and also a stop and tail light, which of course comes on when you brake. Just bear in mind, this will only work if you turn the lights on. When you turn the lights on, the symbol is shown on the display and dims for riding in the dark. And when you turn the lights off, the display gets brighter. Nice touch. You can also switch from miles per hour to kilometers an hour, depending on your preference. I've got no complaints about the grips either. They're nice and soft, very grippy, and not like the old rock hard ones I remember. You've even got a little horn. You can also scroll through the menu with a click of a button. So there you go, there's your odometer, max speed, 27 miles an hour, and then your average speed. Pretty cool, huh? And we've got this big fat rack to put your groceries on, if you dare. So let's get into some specs. It's got a lightweight aluminium folding frame, which I'll show you soon. An integrated 1200 watt peak wheel hub motor, which kicks out 75 Newton meters of torque. This is powered by a 52 volt, 16 amp hour lithium-ion battery, which sits inside the frame. I just wish I got one of these sooner. It's so smooth and so quiet, even on the gravel. Dogs don't seem to be bothered. Dog walkers don't seem to be bothered. And it's not really different to a normal bike. Morning. See, no one even batters an eyelid. Okay, so now it's going to be quite a test, because I want to go up this hill. We're going to go down here, and there's a massive hill which literally is like death when you ride up it on a normal push bike. You normally have to get off and walk. So I'm going to see exactly how that pans out. Right, okay, so this is the bit which I'm talking about. Let's make sure that gate closes. Yes. Let's see if we can make it up. Put it in P8S5, we're just going to go for it. All the way uphill. Let's see if we get it to 8 gear. We go in 8. 7. And now the struggle. Down to 5th. This is steeper than it looks, by the way. It's a lot easier than last time I come up here on a normal bike. Oh, I've absolutely blitzed it. Oh, that was so easy. Oh, honestly, that's incredible. This is so good. Right, get me up the next killer hill. My thighs do ache a little bit though, because I've still been pedalling. Oh, look at this. I feel like the front wheel can even come up a bit, do a little wheelie. The suspension on this is so good as well. Since I turned the lockout off, it just flies along. So the good thing about e-bikes is they get you out the places you normally wouldn't want to ride to, because you know you're just going to physically exert yourself, which is nothing wrong with that either, but this just makes it easier to do more frequently, I feel. This is so much fun. I still haven't broken a sweat. And another hill. Imagine if cows were aggressive and they chased you. Look at this, absolutely smashing it up. You'd never do 15 miles an hour up it. If you're wondering about size on this, I'm just over 6 foot tall. And obviously the seat and the handlebars are adjustable anyway, but this will give you some sort of idea on what to expect. Good morning. Just some light pedalling, power assist free, and I'm still managed to cruise at 18 miles an hour. One thing I'd like to say is I may have accidentally unlocked the full speed and power on this bike while scrolling through the LCD display. Not sure how that happened, unless I've got extremely strong legs. I don't think I was meant to be going 33 miles an hour on this. I didn't expect to anyway. The next thing I want to show you is how the bike folds up. So the pedals also fold like that, and then you can fold the frame, just fold in half. You can also fold the handlebars down. Like that, and then if you need to, you can lift it up and put it in the boot of your car. Perfect. You'll have to bear with me, this is the first time I've actually done this. And then up, make sure it locks in. Brilliant. Good to go. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this over the other bikes that Engwe do, because it folds up, it's convenient. I can put it in the boot of my car if I'm going away and it won't take up too much space. Also, it doesn't really look like an e-bike. If you look at this, it looks like a normal push bike but with a bigger frame, so it doesn't draw too much attention to yourself. Plus, with those big fat knobbly tyres, you can take it off the beaten path, which is good, because who wants to be on the roads all the time? Certainly not me. Overall, I feel this is a great all-round e-bike with lots of good functions and capability. I covered just about 90 miles on this ride, and as you've seen, I've had a lot of fun going off the beaten track, doing lots of hill climbs and some riding on the roads. I was comfortable, I didn't break out in a sweat, but at the same time I still felt like I got some exercise, which is a bonus. To be honest, I could have stayed out longer on the bike, but the battery was starting to get low near the end of my journey, and I didn't want to pedal back unassisted because I'm lazy. This gets me onto the battery life. Engwe claims 110km range on PAS1, which I believe is possible. However, I rarely use number 1, and I was mainly on 3 or 5. I was also using the thumb throttle a lot, plus I've done a lot of hill climbs, and of course this will dramatically decrease the range. With that said, there is still more than enough life in a full charge to go on a good long distance ride. If I was to buy one of these, I do think it's worth the money. It's definitely a great all-rounder that has multiple uses. I have noticed a lot of delivery riders using these as well, which in my opinion is a good thing, as delivery riders use their bikes for long hours at a time with multiple stops, so it needs to be reliable and comfortable to ride. Talking of comfort, the saddle is really comfy, and it's even got its own little suspension underneath. The only thing that I don't like about this bike is the key being underneath the frame. I think this should go higher up on the bike to make it easier to access. Apart from that, I haven't long term tested it yet, but everything on the bike does feel of good quality, and my first impressions are positive. If you're thinking about buying and riding one of these, or any e-bike for that matter, don't forget to check the laws, rules and regulations of the country that you reside in. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and it's given you plenty of information about the Engwe Engine Pro 2.0. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to buy one yourself, along with a coupon code which will give you some money off a new bike. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again soon for the next one. Bye for now.